Hello students, welcome back to a new video in our channel Easy Patashala. Today in this video we are going to cover the chapter 2 stories about flying under 10 minutes. So this will include the quick summary and revision of your entire chapter. As I have been telling from the previous videos as well, for scoring 40 on 40 in literature, you should know the summary of the chapter, you should know the keywords that has to be used in the examination paper while you're writing the answers to impress the evaluator so that they don't cut your extra marks. And then you have to know about the extract based questions. You have to practice them. In this video, what is a new thing is that you'll have quick summary and revision. Also, most basically asked, most expected extract based questions from this chapter will also be covered. Part 1 and part 2 both will be covered under 10 minutes. Stay tuned to this video till the end and then you'll be perfect with this entire chapter. So now in the first part, that is his first flight. So first flight means something flying, and first flight here it is about a little bird seagull, okay, which was very much feared to fly high on the sky, and his parents and his siblings always used to tease him for not being able to fly and get his own food. They were continuously warning him that he would be hungry and starve one day if he doesn't know how to fly and get his own food. So let's see what is in the summary of this chapter. So the story, His First Flight, is by Liam O'Flaherty and is about a young seagull who was scared to fly for the first time. He was worried that his wings would not hold him up in the air. His siblings, despite having smaller wings, bravely flew in the open sky. But the young bird could not gather the courage to fly. Every time he tried to go to the edge to fly, he got scared and went back. His parents scolded him and warned him, saying that he would go hungry if he did not learn to fly. But he did not listen to them. He just watched his parents teach his siblings how to glide over the waves and catch the fish. One day, the family teased the young seagull for being scared. Hungry since the night before, he asked his mom for food. She quickly brought a piece of fish and he eagerly leaned out to grab it, accidentally falling into the open space. Overcome with this fear, his wings spread out and he realized he could also fly. The young seagull took his first flight, soaring higher, skimming the waves, and diving with his siblings. This was about a little seagull who learned to fly by knowing its courage and by flying high. Next part in this chapter is Black Aeroplane. So, Black Aeroplane is a mysterious tale by Frederick Fawcett about a pilot. Okay, the storyteller is a pilot who wants to be with his family and have a nice breakfast with them in England. He had to fly from France to England to be with his family. After passing Paris, he saw storm clouds that looked like big black mountains. But as he flew through them, everything around him turned completely black. He could not see anything outside the airplane and he lost control of it. All of a sudden, he saw another aeroplane without lights on its wings. The pilot that aeroplane waved and signaled him to follow because his plane's radio signals were not working and the fuel was running low. He followed the other pilot blindly. After going through the dark clouds, he landed safely on the runway with the help of the other pilot. When he asked the reception about the pilot who helped him in the tough situation so he could thank him, the woman there said that there was no airplane in the night sky except his own plane. So it is about a pilot who was driving a aeroplane and he wanted to go to his home for having a nice breakfast with his family, and he thought someone helped him through the black clouds, but in reality no one were there to help him. So the conclusion of both the stories is, in this chapter, 2 stories about flying, there are 2 tales that show us how important it is to have inner strength and determination to conquer our fear. Being brave in challenging situations enables us to overcome the difficulties in our life. So in both the stories, children, we have seen that there have been a pinch of courage and self-confidence which help them to come and conquer through all the hardships that they have faced in their life. By taking a small examples of the tales, these authors have been telling us that being brave in challenging situations always will enable us to overcome the difficulties in our life. Whether it be any difficulty in our life, we have to always be courageous and be able to be brave enough to face any challenge. Next, so as I told you earlier, we'll also learn after the summary, we'll learn keywords to impress the evaluator. So let's see what are the keywords that you can use in your answers to enrich your answers and attract the evaluators towards your answer. So first is seagull. What is a seagull? It is a coastal bird with short legs and long wings. It has short legs and it also has long wings. Then comes to the ledge. What is a ledge? A narrow shelf sticking out from a surface. Okay, next is brink. Brink is what? That is some edge of the land before a steep drop. Next, expanse. You already know about it. A wide and continuous area of something. Students, you see, why are we doing this keywords? We are doing these keywords so that whenever evaluators correct our paper, they feel that we are familiar with all the English vocabulary and we have rich vocabulary. This will help to increase our marks also. You have to practice all these keywords, note it down somewhere, learn them and try to implement in your answers whenever you're answering your long answers or short answers. And also, we are going to cover the extract based questions from this chapter in the video. So, next is flapped. What is flapped? The motion of birds moving its wings, flapping. We see, no, that one. Next is muster. What is muster? To gather or to collect. They collect the food, right? Next, plunge. What that means? To jump or to dive in. Have a plunge in the pool. Next, shrilly, making a high-pitched and piercing sound that is made by birds. Next, upbraiding, which means scolding or reprimanding, which means they were scolding the seagull, right, to learn how to fly because otherwise he would starve one day without food. Next is herring, a soft fine sea fish. Next is devour, eating quickly or voraciously. Cackle, which means laughing loudly and harshly. Next one is cowardice, which means lack of bravery or courage. A person who is not having courage or bravery to face a situation is known as cowardice. Next, ascend in the sky. It means what? The act of rising up through the air. Next is preening, tidying and cleaning the feathers. Hump, a rounded raised mass of earth or land, a small hump. Scrapped, which means thrown away or discarded. Next is derisively, which means in a manner of expressing the contempt and ridicule. Next, plaintively, in a sad or mournful manner. So students, I'll not tell to buttify all of this or ratify all of this. No. Just go through these words. If in case it was the questions and give you with these words, you should not be confused and you should not be having a panic situation where you can forget the rest of the answers as well. So I'm making you do all these keywords only to get more vocabulary and able to answer it in a more modified and structural presentable format, right? Next, uttered, which means making a sound with one's voice, uttering something, right? Next, halted means what? Staying at some place or stopping at some place. Next, monstrous, which means extremely horrible or frightening, which we all know already. So we all know all these meanings, but we don't know where to use them and how to use them in our answers, right? So you have to practice writing the answers with this set of keywords. Then read your answer. Read your answer now and then read the answer after implying all these keywords in your answers. You will see the difference for sure. Next, seized means what? Grabbed or took hold of. Headlong, with the head leading or foremost. Soaring, which means flying or rising high in the air. Swooped, which means moving rapidly downward through the air, swooping down. Next, curveting, performing a series of jumping with hind legs. Shrieking, making a high-pitched voice, right? So now I'll move on to the important extract based questions. As I've already earlier told that you need the keywords not to mug it up entirely, but you have to be aware of those words and know where and when you can use it very effectively, which would enrich your answer. So next we are going to move for the important extract based questions that might be asked from this chapter if they have considered this chapter for the extract based, and you should not miss it, right? We are covering entire thing under 10 minutes, so you have to be focused this 10 minutes, learn it, and then only get it from the system. So the first extract based question is: he stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. He closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. All this was done by the young seagull. Let's see what are the questions asked from this extract. So what did the young seagull do? The young seagull wanted to catch the attention of the others, so he pretended to fall asleep at the brink of the ledge. Next, what was the seagull afraid of? We all know it was afraid of flying. Next, why did he close his eyes one at a time? Because he was pretending to fall asleep, right? Then, what could his brothers and sister do that he was not able to? So they could fly, but he was not able to. All his siblings were able to fly when he wasn't able to. Next question. His father and mother had come around him, calling him shrilly, upbraiding him, and threatening to let him starve on the ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. Okay? Now, how did his parents try to make him fly? First, they invited him encouragingly, then scolded, and then threatened to leave him alone to starve unless he flew away. Because it was mandatory for him to fly someday, right? What was the effect of their efforts? All their efforts failed, but he did not fly. What does the passage convey about the young seagull? He was a coward, was not having enough courage or bravery to face any challenge. Next, how was a young seagull threatened by his parents initially when he did not fly? So first his parents encouraged him to fly, but later they even threatened him to fly, saying that he would starve if he doesn't learn how to fly. So students, this was about all the entire chapter of 2 parts it is having. So you have to be thorough with both of them. You should know what to answer, how to answer, and how are the keywords being used. So please read the keywords all mentioned, and these 2 extract based questions, mostly questions will be repeating every year, so please don't leave any of the questions mentioned in the video, and the summary as well. I have included summary in a very shortcut so that you can be able to learn it, as I believe that listening is the most powerful thing that a student can do before writing his exams. You can listen, memorize it, try to write it down, and see how much you are able to do, right? I hope this chapter is entirely clear and we have completed this chapter. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Easy Pathashala. This motivates us a lot. All the best for your exams. You'll do great.